Hello, everyone! The third part of episode 70 had been finally released a few days ago, and at this point, I've rewatched it a couple times more in order to find some secrets that I could have missed in my analysis that I've made on the same day it got out. Also, I was preparing for the compilation of all the parts of episode 70 that Boom can release pretty soon with a few secret scenes added to it, as he usually does, when all the parts for some episode had come out. So, today I'm going to discuss all the secrets of the third part of episode 70 that I didn't cover in my previous video, and also I will make a very special announcement later, so watch this video to the end not to miss it, because it's really important. Now get your tea and snacks ready and let's go. And the very first thing I'd like to point out to you is a pretty funny detail that I somehow missed when I watched this part of the episode for the first time. In the opening scene, when POV Plungerman and the Dark Speaker Man are getting ready to go out of the secret room, you could see something mind-boggling for a split second in the right lower part of the screen, next to the body of a fallen Skibidi toilet with the black claws. It's the tiny toilet with an egg instead of his head. And honestly, there's not much for me to tell what that could possibly mean. There's also a sign on the floor right next to him, which reads, "As Storage Area." The egg toilet had actually appeared before on one of the troll leaks for the episode. And it's pretty funny how this poor egg managed to make it to an actual episode. Personally, I think that it's just some kind of goofy reference that Boom added just for fun, and I feel kind of grateful for that, because this episode had left some real heaviness on my chest and filled me with loads of grief. So it's good to finally have something more funny and silly to discuss. So I guess that this small detail was a really good thing to open this video. Don't you guys think so too? And the second thing I'd like to mention is the phrase that the big TV man had said in the third part of episode 70. It was pretty difficult to discern at the first watch, but now I have clearer version of what had been said. So I've got an alternative version of what the big TV man says as he enters the room with Skibidi Scientist in it in my previous video. I suppose that he said, "My apology." Possibly referring to the fact that he and his team had gotten to the action way too late when the Dark Speakerman was already badly injured at this point. But there is another variant here which sounds pretty accurate too. It's possible that the big TV man says, "I'll demolish you." Because that's what he actually tries to do with the scientist next. Although I like my initial variant too. Also, I found another variant of what the secret agent might have actually said to Skibidi Scientist in the beginning of the episode. My initial variant was pretty funny, but I wouldn't really be surprised to hear something sassy from the secret agent from time to time. But another variant I thought of as I rewatched the episode is pretty timid. And it may sound like, "If you'll escape, my little pawn will kill you." Instead of the initial, "You have once been my little boy. I'll kill you." And what variant do you guys like better? Write it in the comments below so I would check on that. Some other few details I didn't pay my attention to before were the injures that Titan seemed to have while appearing on the screen, looking down on Skibidi Scientist and the whole crowd surrounding him from the alternative exit. In that scene, we can notice how one of Titan TV Man's TV screens on his left shoulder is broken, which apparently happened after his scuffle with Astro Toilet before, at the end of the second part of episode 70. And there's also something not right with Titan Cameraman too. His protection of the head camera seems to be all creased and crumpled up, because he had also gone through a lot in the previous part of the episode. Also, while preparing for Boom to release a compilation video of all parts of episode 70, I've also got some interesting information about another cool detail I didn't talk about before, and it's actually connected with the first part of the episode. And before I'll show you this detail, I would like to give my thanks to one of subscribers that actually noticed those earlier than I did and shared his ideas with me personally. As I always say, my community is literally the smartest on earth. So thank you guys for always providing me with some really cool things that even I do not catch at times. So let's rewind time a bit and go back to the first part of the 70th episode. Do you remember this iconic scene where Titan Speakerman, who got boosted with a Titan TV Man's core greatly, flies upwards and literally demolishes the circle crowd of Skibidi toilets that surrounded him? So it turned out that they are the very same toilets that we had already seen in the second part of episode 68. Everything fits together here because their appearance and size are exactly the same. And in the 68th episode, we saw them getting equipped with 2 acid barrels on sides for each of them. And in the 70th episode, that's what we see being attached to them. And another thing I'd like to talk about is actually pretty interesting. So hear me out here, because this may take some time to properly explain everything, so you wouldn't be too confused. In my analysis of the third part of the episode, I have described the items on the secret agent's table, and I spoke of a speaker, a head camera, and a computer monitor. But I forgot to mention TV set on the right side from the secret agent as well, but it turned out to be quite important. So, in that case, here's what we're getting. On the secret agent's table, we can see the attributes of all 3 main races in the Skibidi Toilet Universe series: Speakermen, Cameramen, and TV Men. And also, aside from those, we have a hint about the Computer Men's race as well, who were supposed to show up in the series before as a completely new race after episode 44. That Boom cut off the original script afterwards for the reason unknown. So, what if those 4 items on the secret agent's table are actually hinting towards 4 races instead of 3? Which means that Computerman's race is still pretty much a thing, and we can see them soon, either in the future episodes of the series or in its sequel, which I'm predicting to happen in space together with Astro Toilets.